Hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Calo. I'm a physical therapist, orthopedics, and women's pelvic floor PT. I am going to go through some exercises that help activate the outer hip muscles with this physio ball here. So this is a 55 centimeter ball, I believe. I'm going to go with that. And we are going to use it up against a wall to do a few exercises, again, to activate these outer hip muscles. So a lot of different muscles around our hip. It's not always the case, but a lot of times these outer hip muscles get very tight and they're not always the strongest. We're going to work on trying to activate them and then also learn some massage techniques to do to loosen them as well. All right, the next one here, we're going to use this ball up against the wall here. Get our little fairy lights out of the way. So you're going to have this ball, like your little buddy, up against your side. You want to be able to stand up straight. I'm not leaning into it. I'm pretty much standing up straight, but it's touching me and it's touching the wall. There's just enough space for that ball. Okay, now from there, what you're going to do is you're going to stack yourself up, right? So I always tell my clients to make everything about their lower abdominals. Now, do I want you to suck in and no, right? We spent a whole lot of time getting those to work efficiently and just turn up the volume a little bit. So it's always going to start that way. So you inhale, fill your belly, exhale, draw in those low abdominals, and I'm just nice and tall. From there, I want you to feel rooted onto the ground. So I'm going to attempt to pick up my left foot off the ground, and I'm keeping my right leg rooted into the ground. Just kidding. Let me bring them a little closer. So even just standing here, I feel my outside hip working like crazy. And then you bring it back down. You want your feet close together. Just standing here, I feel my right leg, like hamstring, all the things in the back working. Okay, so inhale, exhale, zip up those abdominals, engage your glutes a little bit, right? You're not gripping for dear life, but you're engaging them, you're contracting them. Even just standing here, I feel like this is hard. I feel the back of my right leg working. If you feel like you can, to test some of your single leg challenge here, you are going to keep your weight into the ball and pick up that inside foot. I feel that leg working all through here on the right. Because I'm pushing down into the ground, and in order to counterbalance, you're kind of pushing, it's not moving, but I'm pushing down and out with this right leg. And then, coming back down. I'm gonna just shake that out because that's a lot of work. I'm going to show you again on the other side. So this is to start to build towards single leg stability exercise, because we go from starting on the ground to getting more upright, getting gravity, going against gravity. And then ultimately we're humans, right? We're constantly changing, alternating when we walk from one foot to the other. So working on what we call like single leg strength and single leg stability is very important. We got to build towards that. So, other side demo. My feet are snug. They're underneath me. They could be touching. Let's try it with touching. Your hips are square, so you're not twisted. Okay. And you're going to inhale. Exhale, zip up those abdominals. Activate your tush, so you're just squeezing your glutes a little bit. And then whenever you feel like you're ready, that left leg, the outside leg, is thinking of pushing down and out. Down and out while I pick up this right leg and just bend the knee. And I feel work happening. And then you come back down and we rest. Try it again. So inhale, exhale, good. And then back down. Okay, let's try one more time. Inhale, exhale, You want to make sure you're not sitting into that hip, right? When you pick up that foot, that your pelvis stays level. So I'm not sitting, I'm not hiking, because that will just be using a back muscle, okay? One more time. I lied. My leg's on fire. Inhale. Exhale. Good. You're going to progress this a little bit. So bring those feet under a little. Exhale, squeeze. You're kind of wrapping those glutes around. I'm picking up that inside leg. I'm pushing this right leg down into the floor, and almost as if I'm pushing the foot down and out. That's really working my muscles here. And this time you're pressing into the wall and letting it go. So it's a little press. I'm actually going to bend my knee a little bit. A little press and letting it go. So this leg, a little press and letting it go. Press, let it go. Press, let it go. 3 more. Press, let it go. 2, press, let it go. Woo! Press, let it go. Yowza! I feel that leg working. All right, let's try the other side. So flip around. Everything's stacked up nice. Okay, you're gonna inhale. Remember, you want those feet close together. You're gonna exhale, zip your abdominals up. Press that left foot into the ground. My tush is engaging and I'm zipping up my abdominals. You can do this. This is not cheating. This is helping if you need. And then you could always work your way off of it. So I'm here. I'm gonna bend my knee a little bit just so it's not locked. And then I'm pressing out into the ball and back in. Out into the ball and back in. So you have to stay steady on that left leg. I feel my left leg working. Okay, let's try 3 more. I really feel like my weight is in the heel, more of the heel on my left foot. Trying to bias certain muscles here. And rest. Okay, you're gonna try squats here. So you wanna have the ball, it's directly touching my thigh, the side of my leg. Okay, so I have a wider stance this time. We're gonna go into doing a squat. So you want, you don't want it just hip width apart. You definitely want it a little bit wider than that, whatever feels like a comfortable distance for you. We're not doing a crazy wide squat, but so that ball's up against me. Again, I'm not leaning into the ball. I'm standing upright, but that ball is pushing into the wall and pushing into me. So we're getting resistance from it. Okay, if I'm so close that that ball wants to push me away, but I'm not letting it. So from here, you're gonna soften your knees and we're gonna do a squat. So your head and tail are like a seesaw. So I'm bending my knees, and at the same time that I'm bending my knees, my tail is going backwards and my head can go forward a little bit. We're just hinging. Okay, so we're going sitting back, sit that tail back, and then sit back up. Okay, so really reach for that chair behind you. Let that tush reach behind you, and then you come back up. Reach that tail behind you, and then you come back up. 2 more. Reach that tail behind you. And I feel like my right outer leg is working more, which is what I want. We're just working that outer hip, those outer hip muscles while we do this squat. A lot of times we underwork or I shouldn't say underwork, but don't work them as efficiently, these outer hip muscles, and they get very tight and inhibited. And we want you to work these guys because that's what helps control your knee moving in and out. We've got the inner thigh muscles and the outer thigh muscles that are helping. Okay, so that's why we're trying to target those guys a little bit. So same thing on the other side. I'm standing upright, but that ball is pushing into me. It's like we're having a fight right now. Okay, like this is me winning. This is it winning. We want to just be head to head right now. We're both winning. All right, so knees are soft. And now I apologize that I'm behind you right now, but you're gonna reach that tail, reach the tush, back and down, and then it comes underneath you, okay? So underneath you. I want you to push into that left leg like you're trying to really anchor that leg into the ground. So my left leg, my outside leg is what's pushing me towards the ball. That's what's helping me fight the good fight here and not let the ball win. And then you come back up. Let's try 3 more. So again, you're creasing at the hip, you're hinging at the hip, tail's going back, and then you're zipping your tailbone together to push you back up. Hinging at the hip, creasing at the hip, tail goes back, and then my core and my glutes are what bring me back up. I lost count, but I'm gonna do 2 more. So my weight is definitely more towards my heels with this because we're trying to activate more of the backside. Good. I'm going to show you a variation of working towards single leg stance or single leg stability. So throughout everyday life, we're constantly transitioning from one leg to the other. So from a PT perspective, you want to have really good stability on a single leg, right? Even not only just with 2 legs and the strength that you need to be able to go through everyday life, but also to be able to stabilize with your balance and strength on a single leg and do it in a way that is ideal mechanics wise. So I'm going to show you a variation. That last one I did, it's a pretty challenging exercise. So there are ways to scale it down so you can work towards that. So same setup. I'm going to take my socks off because that is good. You want you to feel the ground and get that sensory input. So you want the ball right about pelvis or hip height, right? And as I said before, your feet are close together, right? You have a kind of a narrow base of support. And I'm not leaning into the ball, but I'm not so far that the ball can just slip out and fall down. There's just enough space for that ball. So it's kind of snug. I have definitely some resist, like the ball is pushing me back. You want to feel that because even just standing here, I feel the outside of my hip working, which is what we're going for. We oftentimes kind of underutilize the outside hip muscles, which are your abductors, and they're very important for single leg stability and stance. So feet are close together. Again, this might be your first exercise just standing here. Okay, I'm gonna hang out here for about 30 seconds. I could tell you that me just standing here, I feel the outside of my leg working, which is great. That is what I'm looking for. Now, in order to progress this, because again, if you think about where we want to go with being able to lift that inside foot, you can start with just thinking of lifting the inside heel. So even just lifting the inside heel and rolling to the ball of my foot on that left side, I am amping up the work that this right leg has to do. And one of the things that you want to pay attention to is, I'm going to show you, so it's kind of hang out on the ball here. So it's probably a good place for arms. But one of the things that might happen is as you start to unweight, you start to sit into this hip. I mean, that feels good. It feels like a nice stretch, but that's not working that muscle. You're just lengthening it, right? So the idea is you have your hand here for additional feedback and you're just lifting, but you're really trying to stay level and not let yourself drop into that right hip. So you could just start with picking up a heel and just alternating, right? Or just rather repeating. So picking up that heel, and these are working, putting that heel back down, and you're just working on staying level, staying stable on that leg. Okay. Then, as you start to feel like you're getting stronger there, building more endurance, then you can start to, okay, I'm going to attempt to kind of peel. So I'm pushing that right foot into the ground, pushing it down and almost like out, but obviously it's not moving. And I could start to almost take my foot off, and then you put it back down. Whew, that's a lot of work. At how good of an exercise this is. Pick up that heel, start to peel it off, and then over time, you can get to a place where you're like, all right, look at me, I'm hanging out here. And you can start playing with her, and I'm sitting back in a chair, and I'm pushing my heel, push, 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 down into the ground to come back up. And then I'm sitting back in a chair using my hip hinge a little bit, and I'm pushing, driving into the ground with my right foot to push me back up. Whew, this is intense. One of the things to pay attention, watch my knee. I'm going to try to do one more for you. You don't want it to go inward. As soon as you let that knee go inward, you're disengaging here and you're putting strain all on the inside of your knee. Okay, so pay attention. You can gaze down at first. My hips are going back. I'm hinging. My knee is bending, but it's staying right between those first and second toes. Whew, a lot of work.